Two, one. Welcome back to Keeping It Low Key. We're your hosts, Gabriel and Brandon, and today we are keeping it low key with Pickle Darling. What's up?
Hello, I'm Pickle Darling.
You are our first international interview, and we are just so excited about that. We're officially branching out from the Americas, and like you said earlier, planet between us, and that is awesome. That is really cool.
Yeah, Mr. Worldwide. Thanks for having me.
So New Zealand. That is
Yeah.
I want to say, I was gonna say that's a unique country, but it is a unique country, but
every country's a unique country, buddy.
That's not what I meant. What I'm saying is, it's like, of all the places, New Zealand, and that is awesome. So
I was only thinking of that recently because I feel like everyone in New Zealand, especially if you're like a musician, we feel
right.
like we're not as good as we just want America to notice us or whatever. But I don't know. I guess especially now during the pandemic where it's New Zealand's the only place where you can do gigs and stuff.
Oh, that's right. New Zealand is very low COVID rates, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's insane. Wasn't it how low was it?
We had I can't remember if we had one lockdown or two lockdowns. But it's pretty much we can go out. We've all got this tracer app on our phone for contact tracing. So yeah, no, it's pretty chill. We can have big concerts and stuff.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, New Zealand's got their crap together. America needs to step up their game. US needs to step up the game just a tad. So anyways, we love the album. It is really good. It's very low key, and I personally love the song titles. They are they're so good. It's so good.
Yeah.
But yeah, getting right into it, just talking kind of about your music and stuff. You started off in 2017 with that first EP that you dropped, and then you have this 2-year time gap between then and now, or 2019 when you released the album. What was the 2-year gap preparing for the album that was released, or?
Yeah, I think I had started the album before the EP was out.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know what direction it was going to take.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it was just going to be another EP or an album. I kind of just wanted to do EPs. But yeah, and then the album was kind of finished from my end of things maybe a year before it came out, maybe slightly less than a year before it came out.
Oh, interesting.
Because it's the mixing and then doing all the kind of admin stuff you need for an album release.
Mm-hmm.
And sending it around to people and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I think I wish it wasn't that long, but it kind of works out. And because I'd done a lot of it before the first EP came out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's weird, and by the time it had come out, I was already well into the next album, which I've just finished.
Right.
Yeah.
Actually, we had a question about that.
Yeah.
Oh,
because
okay.
Brandon
So
noticed something.
I was on your Spotify earlier, and I noticed the album art for Spring Onion Pancakes had like changed.
Oh,
And
did it?
yeah, it's different now, and it says Cosmonaut on it. So
Wait, that's not supposed to happen. Whoa, that's my distributor stuffing up. Thanks for letting me know.
yeah, is that supposed to be your new album cover?
Yeah.
Well,
I'm just gonna email them now. Sorry, that's real bad.
Well, I mean, the album art looks dope. I'll say that much. Looks really
That's
cool.
crazy.
Yeah, I was.
That's like a little I'll just pretend that was like a teaser.
Well, it looks really cool. It looks really cool. So, you have a music degree
Yeah.
as well. So where did you receive your degree from?
From CPIT, which is now called ARA, in Christchurch. It's kind of like a it's called the jazz school, but I didn't do the jazz course. I did this pop songwriting course, but it wasn't that great. Like it wasn't like I don't know. I think I did like all I really got out of it was meeting other cool people. But I think the course itself wasn't really catered towards me.
Okay.
Because yeah, so I kind of and I was real lazy. I kind of didn't do anything. I just spent most of my time just sitting in the common room, just like watching movies and stuff. Everyone else would be practicing real hard, and I would just be sitting there just watching movies. Yeah.
So, is college different in New Zealand compared to America? Is it set up differently?
I think the debt is probably less crippling.
Okay.
Like
Everything here is pretty crippling.
Yes, that is true.
I think because I think I've got like what 25 grand debt or something like 30 grand debt.
Oh,
But I know people in America have like 100 grand debt and stuff.
That sounds like a godsend.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah, I was.
But it's also kind of just imaginary. It doesn't feel like it's real anyway. It doesn't feel like it's money that I'm paying, even though it is. But
I got you. I got you. When did you graduate?
2015, I think.
2015. Okay.
And then I did another course somewhere else, which was like a certificate in like audio engineering, which sounds real fancy. Like if you asked me to record a band, I wouldn't be able to do it. Because I went in knowing what I wanted to get out of it, which is just like my own shitty kind of lo-fi stuff, and just only focused on that stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
I got you.
So I got what I wanted out of it, I guess.
Right. What I was gonna ask though is like, did that set you up to start working on your first EP?
Yeah, I actually recorded bits of the first EP before I finished the course, I think. So I think I had the song Mouthful and This Little World were ones that I'd kind of done in the middle of the course and didn't really know what I was going to do with them. Yeah, Mouthful took me like over a year to finish though, because I didn't have a clear idea of what it was going to be.
I got you.
Yeah.
So like, starting from like ground up then? Like, how would you say that like you go about creating one of your EPs?
I think I'm always writing lots of different notes on my phone for like song title ideas or lyric ideas.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm on my computer just making music pretty independently of that. And then I'm also like, like reading books and watching movies and thinking of like broader aesthetic ideas, like
Mhm.
what's the album package gonna feel like, or what's it gonna like what's the essentially like the title and the world of the album, and those three things happen separately, and then eventually I kind of slowly bring them all together. So as I'm like I'll kind of scroll through my phone and find lyrics that kind of work with the music, and then slowly adjust the trajectory of the album. It's like a goalpost, but I'm moving it from both directions, I guess, and then it meets somewhere in the middle, I guess.
Oh,
I don't know if that makes sense.
no. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't really have a clear idea at the start. I don't even have a clear idea of like when I'm starting a song.
So it just begins, is what you're saying. It just kind of starts.
Yeah. Or it doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't even really. There's not like a defined start. There's so many. Like I have hundreds of just unfinished projects on my computer, just different songs. And
Do you like? Do you find yourself like pulling from those unfinished projects and then just kind of like developing on those, and those are like kind of the songs that push forward?
yeah, sometimes I'll just, if I'm stuck on ideas, I'll just go back through stuff that I'm like, oh, I found this thing from 4 years ago. There's something cool in that. Like Rin's Spin Cycle came from that. I just went through this thing that I made like 3 years earlier, just that little synth line, and just took that and made a new song out of that, I guess.
Right.
Yeah. And I've got something like, because I've just finished my new album and I'm working on the next album after that. And there's a song in there that's from like before the first EP.
Dang.
That I just never found a place for, I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
No, actually, that's actually a trend I feel like I've noticed with a lot of the independent musicians that we interview, is that unlike bands, everything is very like conceptual, or instead of just starting maybe with like a drum line or like a bass line or something like that, it just builds up. You're just like pulling from like all different areas, and then it just kind of like forms, and like it just kind of creates itself in the process. I feel like that's a very,
yeah, it feels like making a movie or like something like that, where it's like it's less about, I guess, because there's such little music today that's just simply playing your instrument and singing the song over it. It's like you kind of build this whole thing around it.
yeah, it's very conceptual. I get the sense of like world building almost from the way you go about making your music. It's almost like there's like an underlying narrative or like a theme to all of this.
Yeah, and it's not even like an intentional theme. Like I'm not writing with the theme in mind, but usually the theme, like the title of the album, might change the way that I feel about what I've already done, I guess. Or it's like,
right.
Yeah.
And actually, bringing that up, the titles of your songs, I mentioned that earlier. It's like kind of like my part of like my favorite part of your music is that they're just so interesting. And
Yeah.
I do have a favorite, actually.
Okay.
Favorite song or favorite title?
I have a favorite title. You mentioned it earlier, Rent Spin Cycle / Nicolas Cage.
Oh yeah.
And, I'd like to get a little bit of background on the. I mean, both parts are equally confusing, but they just together it creates this.
Well, Wait, no, I don't want to steal his thunder. Here, go ahead.
Wait, I want to hear what you
Well,
think.
I think it's called Rinse Spin Cycle / Nicolas Cage because it was like the first half of the song, which is
Yeah,
which is
yeah, that's
Right.
essentially.
and then it's because it's kind of like, well, I don't want to say it's two songs, but like
Mm-hmm.
there's two sections to the song, and he takes from both of the sections, and that's where the title comes from.
Right. No, but my question is, how do you go about coming up with like, oh, I'm gonna name this part Rinse Spin Cycle and this part Nicolas Cage?
I think I like. I'm a real big fan of like. I don't like the title of the song to just be the chorus or something. I feel like it's got to be something that is something real odd about the song, or something not even in the song.
Yeah.
And
And I think like it's more about like the feeling of the words and like the shape of the words and stuff, and how the song titles look together.
okay.
And often when like you start a project, you just have a really strange working title. And then you write the song, and often I just don't change the working titles because I think like I don't know, like there's something more interesting in that, I guess. And I also like picking a phrase where the title drop in the song is like kind of unexpected, like just kind of a throwaway line. I reckon that's like real cool.
Yeah.
I want to watch that Nicolas Cage movie.
Oh, it's Vampire's Kiss. Have you seen it?
No, I haven't.
It's the one all the memes are from. You'll watch it and you'll be like, oh man, that's all the memes.
Yeah, Nicolas Cage making the comeback recently, actually.
Yeah.
He just had a
It's
new
awesome.
movie, Mandy, I think.
That is not new, but
Oh yeah,
really good.
Right, yeah.
It's like
I never saw that.
I haven't seen it either, but it looks interesting, and it's like the most artsy film he's been a part of. So
Yeah, it looks awesome.
yeah. We also had another question. I don't like. This was supposed to be our first question. So the explanation behind your stage name, Pickle Darling.
Oh yeah, because I remember I found your music and I was like, that's a weird name, and then I saw Rinse Spin Cycle and I was like, that's a weirder name. And then I listened to it and I was like, oh man, this is like really good. And I just listened to Bigness on repeat for like 3 days straight.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I can't remember what the name comes from. I know I've been in bands in the past and I've suggested it as a name, and everyone's like, that's a dumb name. So now I've got a solo project, so I'm like, yes, I can use it. And now I'm like, oh, it's a dumb name. I don't know. I feel like now I'm stuck doing twee music, but I guess that's like all I can make. I don't know. Yeah, I think it's all right.
I like it.
I like it.
Yeah, nobody else has that name.
It's like it catches people.
No, there's a cat that has that name. If you look on Facebook and you look at Pickle Darling, there's just like this Facebook page that's just like a cat. Like someone's just made a page for their cat and it's called Pickle Darling. So
That's not the answer I was expecting. Yeah, I remember we interviewed are you familiar with Dandelion Hands?
oh, I think so.
Yeah, he was our last interview, and he had like a very strange explanation. So now I've all behind his name. So like now every time like one of our artists has like a unique names, I'm like, we need to ask them about their name.
Yeah.
Dandelion Hands is a great name. That's a cool name.
It is a cool name, and I gotta say, Pickle
Yeah.
Darling is a cool name too.
Thank you.
American Poetry Club had a cool explanation behind theirs too.
Yeah, that was cool. Yeah, American Poetry Club.
Oh, did you interview them?
Yeah. They were our
that's
second
awesome.
interview, and then our first one was High Sun.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you're your Instagram bio, it said, I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce the first word.
I can't remember what my Instagram bio is.
Yeah.
Oh, Ototahi. That's Christchurch.
What is it?
Christchurch. Ototahi.
Ahutahi.
So that's like the Maori name for Christchurch.
Oh, okay, yeah. And it seems like you describe yourself as bedroom pop then as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I gotta say, when I feel like listening to your music, I just want to like curl up in bed and play Animal Crossing. Like while I listen to it. It's got a very like I feel like when I listen to music, sometimes I like associate it with colors, so it's very pastel to me. Your music, yeah, and
yeah, I think of that a lot when I'm making music.
Colors.
I think of just like or
like associations.
Yeah, I associate it more with like really early morning bus rides because that's when I always listen to it.
I think that's like all my formative experiences with music were like on the bus to school.
Yeah.
Just like, so I think that's what I want people to listen to it on the bus. I think that's like the ideal way to hear it.
That's why I always listen to it. Like soft cars in the morning just hits really different.
Thank you.
So I guess your album cover was like kind of leaked. Cosmonaut.
Yeah, that's crazy. I'm real mad about that.
So
that's crazy. How did that happen?
Yeah.
Thanks for pointing that out.
You're not the only artist that has complained about their distributor.
That's so weird.
No, is obviously we kind of like gotta wait for the album release, but can you give us like a vague sense of like maybe like style change or like
well, I guess
even just
now you know the cover of it. It's like this space album.
Right.
You know how like movie sequels, you know how it's like, there'll be one movie that's like in space or something. This is a real dumb way of explaining it. Best example I can think of is The Brave Little Toaster. We watched it in my flat, and the first one is The Brave Little Toaster, and the second one is The Brave Little Toaster Goes to Mars, and then the third one is just like another normal Brave Little Toaster one, but the second one he goes to space for some reason.
It's like a play on like the way like some movie sequels just like kind of throw in space.
Maybe, but it was also like it really heavily like informed the album. Like all of it was all about like I was watching a lot of like I guess science fiction stuff and reading all of that stuff, and I think I wanted to do the opposite of the first album, which is really like small and down to earth, and the new one is still really small and down to earth, but it's more about like
space,
like distance and communication and like being isolated and stuff like that. So yeah, I think it's not like a I don't know, it's not like a Muse album or anything where it's all like literally about space. But yeah, I think it just fit. And a lot of those science fiction movies, they're all just about really normal human things anyway. So it's like I think it just worked really well. And it's a nice imagery to play with, like for the album cover and for the videos and stuff.
You've mentioned it multiple times now. Are you a big like film buff?
I like movies. Yeah.
Finally.
Gabe is like the biggest film nerd ever.
Oh,
yeah,
sweet.
And every artists we interview is just like, I don't care for movies, and then
And he dies. And
Whoa,
yeah,
that's wild. How can someone not care about movies?
I don't know.
Everyone likes at least like one movie.
Yeah, like they all like one movie, but they're like, yeah, I don't like watch movies all that often. They're like, I prefer TV shows, and I'm like, movies are like,
Movies are better than TV shows.
yeah, movies are like significantly better than TV shows. But you've mentioned it multiple times. Are you like greatly influenced by a lot of them?
Yeah, definitely. Like each album was kind of influenced by different like movies and stuff. Like the first EP and album, I kind of grouped them together because to me they're kind of part of the same world.
Mm-hmm.
I think I was watching heaps of like mumblecore movies because I was just like sad and lonely, and they were like just real comfort movies, I guess. So all the samples on them I just like stole from movies.
I gotcha.
And I still do that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, sorry. I forgot a question I wanted to ask earlier was what's the sample? It's in the middle of rinse spin cycle. What is that sample?
Oh, in the middle of it. That's from A Woman Under the Influence.
Okay. I'm
trying
to put a director to the title.
Cassavetes. It's real good.
I will have to
I have not seen that because I don't really watch movies that much.
This is why we need.
I could watch that one. I could watch that one like over and over again. It's very like harrowing, but it's real good. I think that, and it was also.
That's also a book?
Like it's. I'm not sure.
I feel like
I don't know actually. I
think
think it's like. Most of the time when I pick the samples, it's not. Like it usually works out thematically really well. Like that one fits with the lyrics so well, but it's just a coincidence because like I'm really just trying to find dialogue that sounds good and isn't just full of awkward silences and doesn't have music under it, which is so hard to find. And his movies hardly ever have music in them, so I'm like, oh, it's perfect.
Right. No, I got you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm actually attending film school, so like.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm like
awesome.
That's why I'm like a big movie buff or like a big movie nerd. But
what's something you've watched recently? What is it? What's some stuff you like?
Oh, recently
we just watched Death Proof. And
yeah, Nights. Actually, I watched Death Proof for the first time.
I haven't seen that. Is it the Tarantino one?
Yeah, it's Tarantino.
It's good.
And I gotta say, it's probably like my new favorite Tarantino film because it used to be Kill Bill. But yeah, and then I haven't
seen that.
I think it's the funniest Tarantino movie, not on purpose, but it is the funniest Tarantino movie. I wouldn't say it's my favorite.
We also watched Boogie Nights, which is
oh, that's awesome.
It is good. It's oh my god.
Mark Wahlberg?
No.
Paul Thomas Anderson?
Yeah, Paul Thomas Anderson. I don't know why I was thinking Wes Anderson.
Yeah.
That is definitely not Wes Anderson.
Paul Wes Anderson.
Imagine Boogie Nights directed by Wes Anderson.
Yeah. Have you seen what was that? Phantom Thread? Was that him?
I've heard of Phantom Thread. I
feel like everyone forgot about that one. That was a recent-ish one. It's about the guy who's like he makes dresses and stuff, and
yeah, I think that is him.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know.
That one's awesome.
Yeah, we have a third co-host, but we're not introducing him until later. In later episodes, because we're about to wrap up our first
season.
Yeah, like our season. And
yeah, it's the third host, Paul Thomas Anderson. Is this the sequel?
Really cool.
That'd be awesome. No, he's like an even bigger movie nerd than I am, because that's all he does is watch movies. But
Yeah.
Damn.
yeah, no. But I like that you draw from movies a lot because I haven't met a music artist. We haven't interviewed a music artist that like has music as like or movies as like a central like source of
Hmm.
like
Inspiration.
yeah, inspiration.
I think filmmakers are also like more interesting than musicians. Like whenever I listen to interviews, I'll listen to like filmmaker interviews, and there's so much more like observant of the world and more observant and like I don't know, they seem more
Yeah.
because like musicians, it's just like yeah, we just write songs,
Right.
whatever. But like yeah, I don't know. I think I just like
I also
I kind of secretly wish I was like a filmmaker.
I always well I mean you've done a lot of music videos, right?
Yeah, that's kind of like my outlet for that. Not
Right.
that I'm like even directing them, but one of my friends is a filmmaker, and it's just like fun, just doing something visual. Just like
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think it's like videos are just like the fun part of it for me. I think.
No, I like that a lot because I think it's important that if you're an artist, you're not just obsessed with your like one
Form of art.
yeah your one medium. You're obsessed with everything because I think that like ultimately creates like the best art. Because like I feel like
Mm.
there's a lot of artists out there that like I mean obviously each artist has their own way of expressing themselves, but at the same time I feel like if you're a listener you can always tell when a artist is influenced solely by one thing compared to like a lot of things because it creates more diverse music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, definitely.
No, yeah, I like that a lot. um so oh my god, I had a question in my head and I've just gone blank.
Nice.
It
I'm
just
just gonna enjoy the starry background
oh
while you remember the question.
oh thank you. I think every artist mentioned
Yeah.
noticed it. That was only because we didn't know what to put behind us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's very cool.
Yeah, I do know what I was gonna ask. So your album art is like super it's just straight up cool.
It's cute.
Yeah, it's cute. It's
Hmm.
Really cute.
it's cute. Who does the art for you? Is that all one artist or is that
Yeah, so far it's all been one artist. My friend Heather.
okay?
Um, if you look up Heather Marigold on Instagram, she's
Mhm.
real good. She's been like friend for ages. She does the album covers.
Mhm.
Yeah, and they're all like hand painted and stuff. But
Oh, nice.
That's awesome. I wasn't expecting you.
yeah,
Well, no, because they almost
so
look digitally done. So that mean the fact that they're hand
yeah,
looks
that's just like her style of painting, just really like solid colors and stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah, no,
Right.
it's cool.
It looks cool. Do you so when you're like when she does all the album art for you, is it like uh do you like meet with her and you kind of like tell her like this is kind of like what I want and like
Yeah, I'm not usually super strict on like exact specifications or like because it's like I'm not an artist.
Mhm.
So I feel like the artist has the better brain to think of that stuff. But I we make like little like visual diaries and sketchbooks and stuff. And yeah, so the art will be kind of should work on the album covers kind of at the same time as I'm working on the album. Um, yeah, I've never related to like because so many musicians and songwriters are always stumped when they have to do the album cover. They're always like, "Oh, I don't know what to do with the album cover," and I've just like never understood that because I'm like, that's the best part of like making an album. It's like,
right just like seeing album artwork is like it's like your first impression, you know,
yeah,
like what are you presenting to the world, you know, and I think
hmm,
you've done a great job because like I mean artwork so far has like definitely like presented the vibe of
Hmm.
I feel like what the album sounds like. Um, so is Heather, is she like, does she listen to the album as it's being made?
Yeah, I'll kind of send her stuff as I'm finishing it.
Right.
Yeah.
I got you. So for bigness then, was it like, yeah, I'm assuming it's a little boy, right? Like just with
The yeah. I don't know. It's
Little NB.
I guess it's like hard, I don't even have anything specific in mind. Like what I wanted, the thing that gave me that idea was the SpongeBob movie soundtrack, which the cover is just like, maybe it's not the cover, maybe it's just a picture in the booklet. But was just SpongeBob's face filling up the whole square. I was like, that's awesome. It'd be so cool to seeing a record at the shop and one cover is just this giant face that's just like there. Yeah. So that eventually altered, like changed slightly to be kind of fitting in a frame. Yeah.
Mhm.
There's a band called the Brunettes. They were like a twee band in New Zealand.
Okay.
And they've got this album called Holding Hands Feeding Ducks. And I think we got the idea for the layout from that. Just like, oh, just something real simple.
Right.
Like make it feel like a kid's book.
Oh, I got you.
I have a question. Just give me a second. 1 second. I just want to. All right. Yeah. So there's this band I listen to, and they're from New Zealand, but like nobody over here knows them. Have you heard of 3Ds?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you like 3D?
Yeah, like Flying Nun band. Yeah.
Yeah, there's.
I don't actually know them super well.
Oh really?
There's super.
Yeah, I don't really know much of their stuff, but I've heard them.
They're cool.
Mm-hmm. That's. I'm glad you brought that up though, because I feel like over the past couple interviews, me and Brandon have got like a pretty good sense of like what the music culture over here is like in terms of like, because we've interviewed like a couple people from like San Francisco and California, like that whole area, and then we've even got some people from like the South here in America. What's like the like music climate in New Zealand?
In terms of the big, like the big bands are bands like LAB, it's 660, just like kind of like reggae tinged, real chill festival music, and it's not really my thing. So like all the big music festivals are just like those sort of bands, just like, I guess people call it barbecue reggae here, but it's not for me. I don't want to say mean things about them. Like it's cool, but and there's also a lot of like sort of uni rock bands where it's like you know the sort of Mac DeMarco bands, like Ocean Alley and stuff.
Yeah, I know the vibe.
I don't know if they're Australian band. I don't know if they're big. There are heaps of those sort of bands here as well, which is also like not my sort of thing. And there's a lot of folk music, like really great folk singer-songwriters here.
Right.
And I think that's like some of the best stuff in New Zealand.
I got you. So like here in America,
yeah.
Obviously New Zealand is like a much smaller country. So like here in America, like a lot of the music taste depends on like kind of like geographic location. Like yeah, like relatively, speaking, that is. Is it kind of similar in New Zealand where you find more people listening to a certain style of music depending on where you are?
Like, do you have rednecks in New Zealand?
Well, I guess like Christchurch is Christchurch is where the rednecks are. Probably. Christchurch has a big metal scene.
Okay.
Like a lot of like. Apparently, Christchurch has like its own type of metal that is kind of like people around the world love it, which is like I guess that's kind of cool. Yeah, I think Dunedin is where all the cool the cool indie is, like all the Flying Nun bands and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Christchurch is like the bogans, where it's like.
Can I interject here?
Yeah.
So I don't know if like the slang is different.
Oh,
can you explain some of the words?
oh, sorry. Yeah, I don't know what I'm saying. What word? What did I say? Bogan?
Yeah.
I thought
is that a New Zealand word?
Sorry.
How do I describe what a bogan is? I think a bogan has kind of changed. A bogan used to be someone that would listen to like, just like the Rock, which is like one of the big kind of just like rock stations. Kind of wait, I'm gonna look up bogan, and I'm gonna see what images pop up.
So like someone who only listens to like popular rock, like a cock rocker.
Yeah, I looked it up. I looked bogan up on Google, and this is what came up.
Yeah,
so that's
yeah,
like the vibe. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the butt rock.
Yeah.
The butt rock.
Yeah.
And then
So that's Christchurch. That's where I am.
Okay, I got you. Yeah, I was like, the slang is just, the slang is just a little bit different.
So I think, yeah, like a lot of hard rock bands and stuff like that here in Christchurch. A lot of the cool, interesting, like innovative stuff. A lot of young people move to Wellington, which is like we're all like that's the real artsy, cool, creative place.
Gotcha. That's like your guys'.
So a lot of my friends' bands are there.
Okay.
And Auckland, which is just like the biggest city. So Christchurch is really like there was also a big earthquake in Christchurch, like almost 10 years ago.
Oh no.
So that's why all the venues are gone. So it's like everyone kind of moved out, and it's just desolate. There's not really a city here.
Oh, it's so sad.
But yeah. So I think that changed the music scene a lot. But yeah, Christchurch is really good for like. There's a lot of good like folk stuff here, and like country stuff here, which is pretty cool.
That name sounds so familiar to me, and I don't know why. Christchurch.
Oh, what name? Christchurch.
You live? I don't like. I swear to God, I've heard it before, but I don't know where.
Yeah, it's pretty. Not much interesting stuff comes out of Christchurch.
So you say it, Brandon.
I'm not gonna say it. I remember, but I don't want to say it.
Okay.
Okay.
That's fair enough. There's been a lot of bad things that have happened in Christchurch, so it was probably one of those things.
It was the subscribe to PewDiePie incident.
Oh yeah, that was What, 2 years ago? 1 year ago?
Yeah, it was 2018.
Felt very recent.
It was
yeah.
That's why I was Oh man, that was horrible.
Yeah, that's a lot of people in Christchurch, to be honest, weren't super surprised because that is also the vibe of Christchurch. Christchurch is where like super conservative, a lot of like it's like the skinhead capital of New Zealand. So it's like I said, not much cool stuff comes out of Christchurch.
It's like the Alabama of New Zealand.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. So you mentioned that a lot of the venues are gone. Did you, are you, before the pandemic, were you doing any live shows? Or actually, even now, are you doing live shows? Because I know New Zealand's not.
Yeah, I had to cancel a tour, but we did like about 2 months ago. We did a tour with the Beths.
Okay.
I don't know if you know the Beths.
Mhm.
They're
Oh.
like they're kind of like the coolest band in New Zealand. They're on like an American label now.
I got you.
Like, yeah, they're awesome. They're not the biggest band in terms of like mainstream
Right.
success, whatever, but they can sell out the big theaters here.
Nice.
Yeah, so that was awesome. We did 4 shows with them
No.
in the South Island. And what's going on behind you?
No.
There we go.
All right, it's fixed.
Um,
I have a playlist.
some leagues. Oh my gosh.
There we go. All right.
That was an ad.
So
Before anybody gets the wrong idea.
cool.
I have a playlist that just sits on.
I was like, what am I looking at? What was I saying? Oh yeah, the Beths tour. So we did 4 shows with the Beths, which was awesome because they were like, they're real big, so it was like packed, and we played the James Hay Theatre, which is like one of the big venues. Like it was like 1,000 people. So we played in this giant auditorium, and it was crazy. That was like, yeah, that was awesome.
So I'm assuming then you have like touring members.
Yeah, so when we play live, we're like a 3-piece band.
I got you.
Yeah.
Who are those people?
One of them is my friend Serena. She's also in a band called Mousy. And they're real cool. And she plays keys and glockenspiel and backing vocals and stuff.
That's not slang. I think a glockenspiel is an actual instrument. I just
I
don't know.
Oh yeah. And then
What is
Is it like a xylophone?
my yeah, it's like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then Cam, he studied drums at jazz school, and in my band he plays like everything apart from drums. Like he plays guitar, keyboard, tambourine, shaker, the drum machine.
Hold on.
This is wild. What am I looking at?
We got a guy on the toilet.
It's awesome.
Oh, it was a Sims ad.
We believe the ultimate bank statement is how you treat bank. I think I missed a word. Okay.
Okay, it should be good now. Oh my god. I hate it when it does.
So I was just reading an ad. I don't know if anyone's listening to the podcast and like, what?
All of our
What's
listeners
happened?
will be like, what are they talking about?
Yeah, so it's like so the other 2 members of my band are doing a lot at once, basically.
I got you.
So we wanted it to be like a real like fun live experience where it's like everyone's doing lots of things and it's just really interesting to watch. And like trying to put all the layers in my music, trying to recreate that live with all 3 people, and I think it's real cool. Like,
yeah. Does the music kind of take a different vibe when you play it? Like,
yeah, it's way like dancier and louder.
I got you.
It feels bigger. I think it's cool. Like more groovy, especially with the tambourine and stuff. Yeah, I think it's just like louder and dancier. It's awesome.
I got you. No, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, we've heard similar things from other artists. They always say that they're a lot of the bedroom pop acts that we've interviewed always say that their music sounds more punk when they end up playing it live. And yeah, and that brings me to my next thing. What's so you've defined yourself as bedroom pop? Do you have like some favorite bedroom pop like acts that you kind of like look up to?
There's Bedbug, who I don't know if you know them, but they also used to be on Z Tapes. Yeah, and their albums are awesome. And
I remember finding them in like 2017 when I was like a freshman. And then I've listened to them a little bit here and there, like since 2017. And nobody I know has heard of them. And I was listening to you. I was listening to 5 a.m.
Oh yeah.
And you name dropped Bedbug, and I went, whoa, what? And I rewound the song just to make sure. And I was like, oh my God, that's the only other person in my life that I know who's listened to Bedbug.
That's awesome. Yeah, they're awesome. Their last album was cool. And there's also like Skirts, who was on the album Laptop Funeral. They're real cool. And in terms of New Zealand stuff, there was this good era like 15 years ago where there was heaps of kind of twee bands, and I kind of missed out on it because it was 15 years ago.
So what is twee?
Twee.
Oh, twee.
Kind of.
Twee.
Oh, like the vibes. Okay. That's like American poetry. Yeah. They call themselves like tweemo sometimes.
Oh, I guess I've just never heard that before.
It's twee, you know, it's like light.
Like Bell and Sebastian, or like who are some other twee bands?
I guess I've just never heard that term before then.
Like the Wes Anderson vibe.
Yeah.
Is twee.
All right. Well, once again, I think of things in film.
Yeah.
You tell me Wes Anderson, I'll get it.
Well, I told you American Poetry Club.
You've never said twee before.
Yeah, but American Poetry Club said it, and we interviewed them together.
I guess I just didn't pick up on it.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, there's like heaps of cool. There's someone called Princess Chelsea in New Zealand, and she's like wild. Like her videos are awesome. And the band called Voom, and I think like if they came out like 10 years after they did, they would be big all around the world. But they kind of like did 2 albums and then kind of gave up and had to get real jobs and stuff. But the album Hello, Are You There is like one of the best albums ever. Like, yeah, they're kind of sort of bedroom pop vibes.
I got you. Do you listen to, this is kind of like, once I name this artist, this is kind of like the connector that we found for like all of the other artists that we've listened to.
Oh.
Do you listen to Elvis Presley?
Oh yeah.
Everybody listens to Elvis Presley, man. You listen to Mom Jeans?
No.
Dang it, dude.
I don't really know this stuff.
Yeah, but Elvis Presley.
Everybody listens to that guy.
Alex G. Alex G and Elvis Presley are probably like everyone that makes our sort of music is probably like into one of them.
Yeah, we've realized that because like I'd say besides just straight up like, I mean, we've only interviewed one punk band.
Yeah.
So besides the one punk band that we've interviewed, everybody else has been bedroom pop, and we've just realized Elvis Presley is just like the godfather of like
Yeah.
of like everybody's like musical creation.
Yeah, and Coma Cinema was like the other project
Mhm.
by the Elvis Presley guy,
Right, yeah.
and that's real cool too.
Yeah, we've just
But yeah,
realized.
I actually got into them real late though. I was mostly into Alex G before, but then I kind of traced it back to Elvis Presley.
I gotcha.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
You also mentioned some, I think you mentioned it on your Instagram on your like best albums thing.
Hmm.
Frankie Valet.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you're not the first person to mention him either, because American Poetry Club, their lead singer Jordan also mentioned.
I think it's because they're on the same label, or the label that they own released the
Oh,
Frankie Valet stuff,
yeah, what is it? Good Time
or
Records?
something like that.
I think it's Good Time
Yeah.
Records.
It takes time.
It takes Time Records. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're one of our subscribers actually on Instagram or on YouTube.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, the album's awesome.
Yeah,
The
they're really
album's so good.
yeah, no, they're dope. Yeah, we've just been finding like all the bedroom pop acts that are just like all like intertwined in this big circle, and like
Yeah.
it's like I didn't realize this like when we started interviewing like musicians and stuff, but especially since like the main genre, I didn't realize how like cool it was going to be to see like through the different people we interview like the connections,
Yeah.
because it's like following like it's kind of like following like a path almost, because like our first act we interviewed was High Sun, which is
Yeah.
bedroom pop.
Yeah.
And then like from there I went to American Poetry Club, who happened to also know High Sun, and then like we just realized that like we're just like kind of retracing a path that's been drawn, and like we're just we're like weaving
Yeah.
everybody
Yeah, everyone
knows.
kind of knows each other in the bedroom pop scene.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think like I don't think other musicians that like I know personally, like in Christchurch, New Zealand, would know many of those bands, because I spend most of my time like on Bandcamp and stuff. So I feel like my music scene is like the internet.
It's very niche. Very niche.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's cool though. It's cool, and also like it's very close cousin Midwestern emo. Just the genre. Are you familiar with Midwestern emo?
I've never heard that term.
Have you ever heard of
American? Oh yeah. Okay, so like
Mom Dean's is Midwestern emo, even though I'm pretty sure
okay,
in California, but like they're
yeah,
characterized as Midwestern emo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you also live in the Midwest like us, that is such a perfect term to describe.
Yeah.
I don't know, like,
yeah,
because like the Midwest is just such a like a I'd say like it's very boring.
Depressing.
It's like melancholy.
Yeah.
It's a constant like just
Feels
like
inescapable.
The vibe. So like when you're like, I think that's why me and Brandon especially like bedroom pop and like Midwestern emo, because it's just so like it's like sad, but like it's not like so a lot of times it's just not about anything like really like traumatic. It's just sad. Yeah. And like, it connects in a weird way to us because we're like, oh, we get that.
I never know what the like the geography of the US. Like I assume, because it's so big, and I just assume, oh, everyone I know in America, surely they all just know each other and see each other all the time. like my friends in California, and then my friends in Texas, and friends in New York, surely they just must bump into each other like once a week. But it's like essentially another country, right? It's
Oh
like,
yeah. The way I like to describe it is this: there's like, well, I mean, everybody describes it like this really here, but just like there's the West Coast, East Coast, and then there's the South, and then there's this big chunk in the middle called the Midwest. And if you cut out the Midwest, nothing would change. That's
damn.
America in a nutshell. Also, there's the East Coast. Just basically, the borders of America are where all the cool people live.
Yeah, and in the middle.
Oh, okay.
Void.
Yeah. Like
That's so interesting that it's like because there would be like someone in another state. That would be so. That would just be like me flying to Australia. Like,
right.
I don't know. I just can't comprehend that. I feel like people imagine New Zealand as just like all forest and bush with just like one street and a shop at the end of that street, and that's the whole thing. And it's like, yeah, New Zealand's exactly like that.
I imagine New Zealand at Gabe's gonna kill me real quick. I watch Power Rangers a lot, right? And Power Rangers films in New Zealand. So whenever
people in New Zealand, it's not even screened in New Zealand. People here don't know that.
What?
Like we can't watch that here.
Why?
It's like there's a lot of things that are filmed in New Zealand, and then no one in New Zealand would have heard of them.
Well, so Power
Like
Rangers...
it's not. It's like it's just not advertised here. No one knows about it here, really.
You watch Power
Apart
Rangers?
from people. No, I've never watched it.
Oh.
I mean, I've seen it growing up, not the New Zealand one. But I've got friends that worked on it.
Oh,
Like apparently,
that's so cool.
like apparently, because I was filming a music video for my new album, and the people that made the video, like there's some people that were helping me make it and stuff, were like, "Oh, do you wanna like?" I heard two of them talking to each other. They're like, "Oh, do you wanna come do Power Rangers with me tomorrow? I think they need some extra hands." They're like, "Oh, no, I'm kind of busy." I was like, everyone that studies film in New Zealand has probably some experience with like Power Rangers or like.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's wild.
Unexpected.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so whenever I think of New Zealand, I always just think of like cities, just like endless cities, no forest, like the exact opposite of what you described.
Oh, that's interesting.
Because
No, New Zealand is there's a lot of empty space here.
Really?
Like there's the cities, there's like Auckland, Wellington, Christchurch, Dunedin.
Mhm.
Between that, it's so much like bush and plains and like hills and stuff. Yeah, it's very like outside of the cities, it's like very green and a lot of small towns.
I got you.
Like a lot of yeah.
Do the city like are the cities like super big or are they like?
Auckland is really big. Auckland is really sprawling. Like it's kind of separated over. It feels like a bunch of islands, Auckland City. Like you've got to cross bridges to get to different places and stuff. Yeah, Christchurch is really flat. Like you could probably walk across the entirety of Christchurch in like 4 hours.
Oh,
Just like just on foot, you could probably.
oh, I cannot imagine walking anywhere here in America. For like, because basically the Midwest, unless it's like kind of like Missouri where we live is like hilly, but as soon as you get more east, because we live in St. Louis, so as soon as you get more east, it's just flat until you get to Colorado, and that's like
Colorado's west.
Man.
Yes, what he said. I'm sorry, I'm getting my directions mixed up because I'm. Never mind. As soon as you go west, it's like all flat until you get to Colorado. Like it just instantly turns into mountains. Yeah.
That's cool. Because here Christchurch is kind of surrounded on one half by hills, like the Port Hills is what they're called.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like you always know where you are in Christchurch because you just look at the hills and it's like, oh, that's over there, so I must be facing this way.
And what I would
Yeah.
like, so
Be anywhere else.
yeah. Missouri is like the way I like to think about it is like just the Midwest in general.
Purgatory. It's like purgatory.
Yeah, it's purgatory. Yeah, because America is like split. I would say in like it's like split into like personalities. Like Texas and everything to the right of it, just going up to like Florida and like Georgia area is all like
rednecks.
Yeah, that's like the same type of person, and then the Midwest is all one type of person, and then you've got like your East Coast and West Coasters, and they like kind of hate each other in this weird way.
Oh, whoa.
There's like
there's so many different types of Americans.
Yeah,
that's a weird thing to say.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, America's like a weird blend of people. Yeah,
New Zealand is essentially everyone's like the same person. Like everyone across New Zealand would hear this and disagree with me, but I'm just like, no, you're all the same.
I have a strange question. All right, so is the term?
Oh my god.
Okay, I've heard this in movies before, but I also don't want it to be like offensive. Is Kiwi like a genuine term that's used, or is that something that's like an American?
It's super no, it's not offensive. It's like I was worried you got to say like a slur or something. No, Kiwi is all good. Kiwi is just like, because Kiwi is like a native bird.
Okay.
In New Zealand, it's like a flightless, endangered. It's kind of like the symbol of New Zealand. No, Kiwis are good. Like we call ourselves Kiwis, or other people call us Kiwis, or.
I got you. The reason we were confused about it is because here in America, I don't know if you're familiar with our racial issues here in America.
I am.
But when we first heard that, it sounds so much like it could be
a slur.
Yeah.
Nah, because it doesn't refer to any. It doesn't refer to like, the indigenous like population here, or it doesn't refer to any like ethnicity. It's just like New Zealanders.
Okay, all right. Because I was curious about it.
It's like Aussies. It's like Aussies refers to just Australians.
I got you.
And as far as I'm aware, Aussies isn't a racist term.
That's another thing. Is it like do you get? I know New Zealand is very prideful that they're like that you guys are very prideful that you guys are like from like New Zealanders and stuff. Is it like irritating like hearing people like mistake you guys for Australians, like if they hear your accent or something like that, or if they're in New Zealand and they compare you guys to Australians?
I guess so. Well, I mean, it's not like super offensive. It's like lighthearted, because I think New Zealanders and Australians are like, it's pretty friendly with each other.
I gotcha. Yeah.
It's just like banter. But we see ourselves as so different to Australia.
Oh.
Like Australia feels like America to us. Like it's giant. And like everyone has such big personalities and yeah. Like they feel so different to us, I guess.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, it's cool to hear, because like what New Zealand's like, I mean, roughly the size of one of our states.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool to hear.
Oh my god, that's insane to think about.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting to hear like your take on like what a country that small thinks about like countries that are bigger.
Yeah, like it's pretty easy to have friends across the country in New Zealand.
Right, which is
because it's like a few times a year. It's like everyone flies around or goes on road trips and stuff. I guess.
How long would it take to drive from one end of New Zealand to the other? Like guesstimate.
Okay, so I'm gonna where it's at. So on our tour, we drove from Invercargill, which is like the most further south part of New Zealand, back to Christchurch, which is kind of like halfway up the South Island. So maybe if you times that by 4 or 5, that was like a 6-hour. No, maybe that was more than that. No, I think that was like a 7 or 8 hour trip.
Oh my god!
But I'm gonna look this up.
And that's like a
okay. How long?
For us.
Here, I'll also look up
drive.
That's like a day trip for us. That's like
okay to drive the length of New Zealand. You could. So from the North Island would be 14 hours, and then South Island would be 12 hours. I guess.
To drive coast to coast in America, it's 45 hours.
Whoa.
Yeah, almost 2 days straight.
Damn. That's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, I reckon you could do New Zealand in less than the time that it's saying. It's lying to me.
Right.
Because it says I reckon you could do it in like 20 hours. If you gun it.
I'm curious. Is like what's like driving laws like in New Zealand? Because I imagine it's different than America.
Use kilometers over there.
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah, so
I don't know how it's different. I think most people get their like first license, like the learner's license, into high school.
Okay, so that's pretty similar.
But yeah, but that's like you can't drive like alone with that.
Yeah, like a permit.
There's like 3 different licenses.
Yeah,
and I'm on the restrictor license, but I've been driving as if I've got the full license because like I have an old lady's car. Like my car looks like a granny car, so I never get pulled over. So that's the driving laws in New Zealand. Is just like what you can get away with, I guess.
Yeah, I guess I didn't really think about it. I guess we do have 3 licenses here.
Yeah.
Do you have to be a certain age to get the full license though?
I don't think so. I think it's like just more. You've got to sit different tests each time.
Oh, is it like based on driving experience?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and here it's when you turn 18, you get your full license.
Really, you don't have to do a test.
Well, you do tests, but then you get your, I guess you would say like the middle license, but then you test again for the next one, and you get that automatically when you turn 18.
Oh, that's awesome. Because we have to do like 3 different tests.
Oh,
what?
I was gonna say, well, okay, so that kind of brings me into my next thing. What are the drinking laws like in New Zealand?
New Zealand has like the worst drinking culture ever. It's like because New Zealand is all like sports and drinking.
Oh, okay.
Where
like sports bars.
Everyone, it's just like and it's just like rugby and drinking.
Oh, I got you. Is there an age requirement though for it?
So it's like it's like 18, but no, people were getting smashed at like 9. Getting not 9, 14. As in people were like people were getting drunk very young.
That's interesting that you guys say that your drinking culture is like bad, because like I've always thought America's is bad, because here you have to be 21.
Yeah.
Which is like
here it's 18, but it's like everyone's like
Oh, I mean, everyone underage drinks here too. Like,
I mean, it's, the law isn't stopping it, but
yeah.
But it's I see. So is it like what's like the? I guess you could say like what's the like punishment or like a like consequence for like being caught underage?
I don't really know. I don't know. I think I'm not sure. People just don't really get caught. I have no idea. Probably not super bad if you're
Is it bad over here?
young.
I feel like it is because I feel like over here people make such a big deal because like you don't even know what happened.
Yeah.
So it's like over here, it's like they make a big deal about like what would happen if you got caught with it.
I mean, I know if you're like 18, like you're technically an adult. So if you're giving alcohol to like younger kids, you can get like in serious trouble for that. Because supplying alcohol to a minor.
Right, but like I mean, when you're at school and stuff, they're always hammering it into your head about how it's like, you know, like anti like drug and alcohol stuff. Do you guys have a lot of that, or in school did you guys have a lot of that like anti drug, alcohol kind of like PSA type stuff?
I'm not sure. I went to weird school. I went to like a religious school.
Oh, really?
So it was like whatever of that people had in their normal schools, we probably had it way more.
Mm-hmm.
Like just like we had the classic like drilled into us where it's like, oh, as soon as you leave school, everyone's going to be pressuring you to do drugs and smoke cigarettes and
is it predominantly
it's like peer pressure. Yeah.
Is it predominantly Christian?
So that's what. Yeah.
It is.
And I just went to Christian schools and stuff.
I got you.
So it's like you get a like pretty like narrow view of the world when you come out of school.
I got you. So is it like, I imagine in New Zealand, because it's such a small country, is it like, would you say it's like pretty like universal things that are taught amongst the schools?
I guess so. New Zealand's pretty like it's pretty liberal and it's pretty like in a lot of ways it's like just like we don't have the hard out like Republicans that like you don't have a giant religious right in New Zealand really. Like they're there, but it's not.
Yeah.
They're not really a big deal. Like they're not. Like in our last election, there's this one party called the New Conservative Party, and they were like crazy, but they were very fringe. Whereas I feel like if they were in America, they would be like they'd get like 40% of the vote. I don't know. Maybe that's unfair to say.
No, it's fair.
Wait, the New Conservatives.
Yeah.
So like what's
they were like the worst party we've ever had. But they got like what 1% of the vote or something like that. Because we have like lots of minor parties that you vote for. So it's not a two-party thing.
Right. What was their like whole spiel, the Young Conservatives?
Super backwards. Like one of their things was wild where they were like they wanted to take single mothers and house them with another more experienced couple.
Wait, what?
Just like it was real weird, just like kind of forcing people into like.
But like it was required.
I think so. Just like crazy stuff. I'm trying to remember it. Like that was super racist. They had signs that were like one of their signs was like said something like support oil drilling, but it's like
What?
people that are right wing,
Not like Trump supporters.
but it's like so many people that would be kind of leaning to the right wouldn't even think that sounds like a good thing because they just wouldn't think about that thing. You don't say that stuff. Like that's the small text. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's the stuff they try and sneak in. But then the New Conservative Party are like, yeah, oil drilling, and everyone's like, wait, that doesn't sound like a good thing.
Yeah.
People that don't even know anything about it.
Yeah, I
It's wild.
really wish America could break away from
It's
oil.
like it's like impossible because America is so far right leaning that even like our Democrat like liberal politicians like over in like Europe are still right leaning like in Europe. Like that's how far
Yeah.
right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like Joe Biden in Europe would like be a conservative.
Yeah, our big right-wing party, the National Party, they would be like further left than the Democrats.
Right.
I guess.
Which is insane to think about.
Like I want to be in Europe. I don't want to be in anymore.
Yeah, it's wild. It's like, and because it's not like American people are like that. I guess it's like I feel like
so like earlier.
Like I don't feel like the two parties there really represent what so many people in America are actually like.
No, I actually agree with you because he's gonna say otherwise, but I agree with you because like I think here in America, I don't know what your journalism climate is in New Zealand, but here in America, everything is so based off of like major news networks like Fox, CNN. So it's always extreme viewpoints that are the ones that are being presented. So like when other countries, I feel like kind of look into America, they only like kind of see like the extreme, like the worst of the worst from both sides. And
okay, fair.
So
enough, but there's still like like it's still a lot of people who are like really on either side because our population's so big, like
right. But I think that all becomes relative though, because kind of like what I said earlier with the whole music thing, where like what people are listening to is like geography based. The political climate is also kind of determined where you live as well. Like the further west and east you go, the more liberal of an idea you have. In the South is has always been very like conservative, and then as you get into the Midwest, you have like kind of like this back and forth between the two. Yeah, so I feel like
New Zealand's like that. The further south you go, the more racist you get.
Oh, so that's not just an American thing.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I never really thought about that. But yeah. So like I imagine your guys' racial issues are probably a little bit different than ours.
Yeah, I think because we're like a settler colonial country as well. I think that's the right term. So it's like not to the scale of America, but it's still like New Zealand kind of also functions as like a mini imperialist force in the kind of Pacific area as well. So it's like it's not this it's not like this utopia like that. I think New Zealand always tries to sell itself as like, oh, we're so much like better than all these other countries. We're so much better than America, but it's like it's kind of just a small version of that, I guess. Like,
I gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like it's still a very racist country. Like it's
it's everywhere is
like we have a like horrible prison system and
just like us.
Yeah. Yeah.
This bomb.
Yeah.
But yeah, our prison system too is like the worst.
It's just legal slavery.
Yeah. yeah, we have a horrible. We just have bad
Everything.
laws concerning
Yeah.
like criminalization, and I think that ends up just perpetuating a further problem that we have, which like Brandon,
Yeah.
is kind of like it's the prison industrial complex
Yeah.
that just kind of feels it.
Yeah. Like New Zealand is kind of similar. I think it functions differently. Well, it's actually kind of similar to like how the prison system came about in America, because here it kind of came about. My history is real bad, but it kind of came about when like the people that came from Britain essentially were stealing land
Mhm.
from Maori people, and they went to the British courts, whatever, and even they were like, hey, you don't really have a leg to stand on. We can't enforce like that you're all good to do that, to be stealing their land, and that for them to be taking their land back, like it's fully their right to do that. So then the people here were like, oh, okay, we'll just get our own like mercenaries essentially to just like lock up the Maori people to get them out of the way so we can take their land. And that's kind of where the police in New Zealand come from. That's like a very like clumsy way to put it, but it's like they were essentially like
that's kind of
like the imported like white supremacists that were like, okay, we'll do your work for you, and then that kind of became the police here.
That's the police system there. Okay, that's kind of
yeah.
Kind of like what happened here, because police,
Yeah.
like if you trace back like the roots of our police system, it's from like
it's when
bounty hunters that would like hunt slaves down.
yeah, it's when they would it's when slaves would escape from the south and try to make it to the north.
Yeah.
And then kind of like what you said with the mercenaries, it was like they were like slave trackers essentially, and they were the ones that would back. And then that's kind of like the start of our police system here in America. Yeah, I don't know. Each country kind of has like
its own problems.
It's especially with police, that seems to be like a common issue that a lot of countries are facing.
Yeah.
Nobody quite get it right. But I mean,
definitely.
New Zealand, I guess this is probably just me comment, like just speaking randomly, but it seems like New Zealand's probably got it
a little better
together, a little bit better, at least in terms of like group mentality about what's
I guess like like we had a so our police aren't really heavily armed. They're not these like
they're not militarized.
Because in America it's just like a whole bunch of like Terminators walking around. That's how I picture America. New Zealand, there was after the terrorist attack a couple of years ago, there was a campaign to get the police more heavily armed and stuff, and then there was a big arms down campaign that was kind of a grassroots campaign here, and that worked. So the police just they're not heavily armed here.
I guess. Do they still carry like handguns?
And everyone kind of got behind that. Like everyone, the right and left here, kind of got behind that.
Do they still carry handguns?
Because I don't think so.
Really?
No, I don't know. I might be wrong.
Oh,
but I think it's like a lot harder for them to just shoot someone, I guess.
I got you. I'm assuming gun control is like a pretty, like, I would assume nobody in New Zealand owns guns, right? Or
people do.
They do.
Like there's still ways of getting them, but most people don't.
I imagine
don't have them.
The process to getting it is a little bit more complicated.
Yeah, it's not like. Yeah, you can't just like
go out and
go to the dairy and grab a gun.
Like here you can go to a Walmart and buy guns.
Can you actually at Walmart?
Yeah, Walmart. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, I think they stopped it like after all those shootings happened. But
Damn.
Every Walmart there used to be a gun section, and now like it's only at like.
I'm just imagining it like it's just right by the counter where all the like candy bars and stuff. It's just like, oh, you can just pick one up on the way out.
Right by the children's bike section.
Damn.
I'm not joking about that because it's in the outdoors section. So any like outdoors toys, it's gonna be on that section.
That's crazy.
It also includes the hunting section. So like you can just pick up guns, or you could just pick up guns at Walmart. But
that's scary.
Yeah.
No, we don't really have that here. It's like
part of me
feels pretty safe here.
It's weird. I've gone back and forth between what I think when it comes to that whole issue that we have here in America. I think we need to have like consistent like not background checks on people, but consistent mental health checks. Like if you own a gun, you're required to like take like not like aptitude tests, but like certain tests that decide whether or not you're mentally fit to require like handle the responsibility of a gun.
Yeah, my problem with that though is people could just lie.
That's true. Well, I mean I know Japan. You can't
even own guns in Japan.
There's an Asian country, I forget which one, but that's one of the systems they have for getting a gun is that if you own one, it's like every couple months you have to go get a.
Maybe they can in Japan. One of them they can't.
Yeah, sure. But I kind of think that would like at least remedy the situation here in America a little bit.
Yeah.
What is New Zealand's like perception of Americans? Like, what do you guys like think of?
Oh, that's a big question. Hey, do you edit these podcasts, by the way? Do you do any editing?
Why? Do you want us to edit something out?
No, I'm just like, can I pee?
Oh yeah, go right ahead.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Okay. Just so you edit this out. Or I could just bring my laptop in. It'll be 1 minute.
All right. Good.
Is he Asian?
No, because he said that New Zealand has an indigenous people.
Is he from the indigenous people then?
Yeah, I would assume so. Huh.
Yeah, their indigenous people are Polynesian.
Oh, interesting.
I don't know how to pronounce the name of their indigenous people though.
I am back. I am.
Okay, quick question.
My bladder is ready to go.
All right. So are you one of the indigenous people from New Zealand? I can't pronounce the name. I don't know how to pronounce it.
No, Maori. So I'm not, because my mum's from Malaysia, actually.
Oh,
I was right.
Okay. He gets high. I know this is gonna shock you, but because of his red hair, but he's actually like a very good portion Korean.
Oh.
Yeah, you would never guess that just
Damn.
Yeah, but his father was Korean. So yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. We were wondering like what you
Yeah. No, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's a fair question.
Yeah. All right, so kind of back to what we were getting at. What is
perception of America.
Yeah, what's like that whole perception that they have?
Really big, because all of our TV shows are still American, you know.
Mhm.
Like we still watch American TV, listen to American music. It seems like the hyper real version of us, I guess. Like it seems like bigger, louder, um, like the center of the world, basically.
Really?
Like I listen to a lot of like American music. Yeah, also feels very diverse, like as in so many different types of people and so many like yeah. I guess we see America as like some of the best things in the world come from there, and some of the worst things in the world come from there.
That's
Yeah.
fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. Does our political system look messy?
Your political system looks horrible. Like we're not jealous of that at all.
No. Yeah. Well, we agree.
Because we had our election night. I think it was a few months before your one, because ours was in October.
Okay.
And it was like pretty great atmosphere because like Labour are kind of our big centre left party. And they kind of dominated, and all the right wing parties just got smashed. So it was like everyone was feeling pretty good. Whereas it would be hard to get excited about.
Right.
Yeah, like it's like, yeah, like America sounds like there is, yeah.
Be honest with me. Does it seem dangerous?
It does.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a nightmare. It's like because half the country votes one way and half the country votes the other, and
then like there's no small parties. Well, it's
Yeah.
like you can't have that.
there are
and really get.
They have no voice.
Yeah, they won't be on the ticket. At all.
Yeah,
They absolutely have no voice.
because our small parties are like pretty essential to it.
Right.
Because they can, like, there's coalitions and stuff.
Right.
And so the big parties have to form coalitions to make a majority.
Interesting. That's cool.
So that's why, like, people here, we can actually vote for a really further left party, like the Green Party. And the centre left party will need them to get over 50%, so they'll form a coalition. So that's why it is actually like good to vote for small parties here.
That sounds way better than.
Yeah, it's a lot better.
Yeah, because so our two-party system is it's actually, believe it or not, it I don't want to say it's unintentional, but I feel it definitely wasn't intentional. Because before the Democrats and the Republicans, or the left and the right here in America, were not like necessarily meant to have formed, because it was only like maybe 150 years ago, or even I would say even less than that you had bigger, smaller parties that had way more voice and more of a standing. It's only until like I'd say like, I mean, the last like,
it was in like the mid 1800s about.
It was the mid 1800s that you really saw like a big spike in like only Republicans and only like Democrats being like the majority parties.
The last time like a different party was able to get a good amount of the vote was in the 90s. This one guy, I can't remember his name, but he got like 19% of the vote, and that's like the highest that anyone's ever like.
Whoa.
And that's crazy. That's crazy small. You know, compared to the fact that, you know, you have like a majority of the population voting only two different ways.
Yeah. Man, 19% of the vote in America. That's like
Yeah.
wild.
And hilariously, we have some pretty hilariously wild parties, like small parties that exist. Like there is genuinely like what's the term for the wicker?
The what?
The wicker. Like as in like the witches.
Oh.
They have a political party that exists here in America that gets a extremely small portion of the votes to get elected. So like here in America, the smaller parties are almost like a joke.
Yeah.
But
we had a oh sorry.
No, you're all good. You're all good.
There was this new party that came out. New party came out. That's a weird way to say it. Like it's an album. There was a new party this year called the New Zealand Public Party. And they were like the conspiracy party. Like anti-vax, anti
oh boy. Trump again.
Like anti wearing masks, anti lockdown. They're like protesting the lockdown and stuff. Real conspiracy theory, like anti 5G. Do you know what 5G is? Is that a New Zealand thing?
Yeah,
you know 5G?
Here in America,
that's big. That is like
a huge conspiracy amongst the right.
And it's my brain.
Yeah, the whole
all
5G.
The bad parties in New Zealand just sound like qualities from the right over here just split upon different parties.
Yeah, the anti 5G stuff is awesome because it's like they well it's like 3G is all good, 4G is all good,
5G,
but 5G will blow up your head. like
here it's like 5G causes COVID.
Yeah, people think 5G causes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, which is
that's awesome.
Funniest thing ever.
And then anti-vaxxers, that is I'd say that's got a pretty big following here in America.
Ridiculous. Huge.
Well, because they all kind of connect up with each other.
Yeah.
And kind of creates a weirdly coherent worldview because they have an answer for everything. They're like, oh yeah, but what about this with the vaccines? And they're like, well, it's because of the 5G. And then you're like, yeah, but you've got this wrong about the 5G. And then they're like, well, you're not taking the fact that COVID's a hoax into account. So like they have, like it all works together.
No breaking the argument.
Because they've got their whole network of information that's all connected up, and they're like, not really any holes in it because it's all wrong.
Yeah, I've always been curious about like conspiracy theories and why like certain types of people are so attracted to them, and like why they're so easily like subscribable. Here in America, we have like there's a very, I wouldn't say it's a niche portion of the right. There's like a good amount of them, but it's called QAnon. I don't know if you've.
Oh yeah.
That's like big here. I don't know if New Zealand.
I've heard a lot about that, but I've never actually like read about it. I know everyone. I don't really know what it is.
Yeah,
I haven't.
You familiar with 4chan?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So on 4chan, hilariously, somebody just named like anonymously was named Q, and I don't know why. I don't know how people jump to these conclusions, but like a good portion of the right just jumped to the conclusion that this was an ex-military / someone who had like authority to speak on like a bunch of like confidential stuff, and they just wrapped up in a neat little package. It's this idea that the government is made up of a satanic pedophile ring.
Whoa.
Yeah. So what blows my mind about that is I know politicians lie, but there's a huge portion of our population that is just so willing to listen to a random person on the internet.
Yeah.
Especially on 4chan.
Yeah, 4chan of all places. Is 4chan different for New Zealand? I know that seems like a dumb.
No. I think we're all aware of like
how like bad
the vibe of 4chan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just kind of. Like,
I think. Well, conspiracy theory people are like interesting because it's like, often they have like, there's always an element of like, I don't want to say like an element of truth, but there's like an element of like, okay, they're right to mistrust the government. And then it's like, okay, I don't trust the government, but I'll trust someone with like, I'll trust a CEO. I'll trust a whole bunch of billionaires that tell me COVID's a hoax.
Yeah, it
like
just, it snowballed. It's because like the people are starting with a conclusion and then working backwards from like trying to find facts that fit the conclusion rather than just kind of like basing a conclusion off of facts. They go the opposite way, and it never ends up good. That's why the flat Earth thing also baffles me.
I'm a big fan of that because they have like, they literally have an answer for everything.
They
because
do.
It's like, and each thing in the answer gets more like, is even harder to explain. It's like, oh, what about sunrises? But it's like, oh no, the sun's just like a spotlight that just shines differently on the Earth. Or like, and gravity is just that the Earth is a disk and it's just flying upwards, so we're just like being pulled down towards it. And it's like, how is that more plausible than gravity? It's just another force that you're making up. It's like, if one of them is made up, why like
some of them think the government
awesome.
like made a dome around the Earth, and it was like the government hasn't always existed. Like, how did they like what are you talking about?
Yeah, the government existed for all of time. You know, like, and we've got several different types of governments at this point, so it's like I don't know how you're jumping to that conclusion.
I'm just gonna charge my laptop. I just saw my batteries running out, so I'll be 1 sec. Sweet, I'm back.
Good. Yeah. Conspiracy theories are just so whack.
Everyone goes through a conspiracy phase, though.
I think.
Like,
it should be in. Like,
I don't know how old are you, both?
We're both 18.
Yeah.
Oh, 18.
Yeah.
Okay, because I wonder, because I'm 25.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm 25. So when I was in high school, that would have been like 2010s.
Mm-hmm.
And I reckon everyone goes through like a conspiracy phase around then, where it's like the Illuminati and stuff like that.
Yeah, I went through mine in like middle school, like 2016, 2017.
I feel like I feel like
it's fun.
This is gonna sound weird. I feel like some of them are more valid than others. Like hold on, let me explain myself.
No, I agree with that.
Like I don't know. We had this discussion when Destroy Boys was on, but like, are you a fan of Nirvana?
Yeah.
Yeah, like
I guess I feel like everyone likes.
Right, like
Nirvana.
I mean, I definitely think Courtney Love had to do with Kurt Cobain's death.
Yes, I'm not allowed to be frivolous.
Sorry, Siri is just like rudely interrupting. I don't even use Siri. Okay, you're not real. I don't know about that one.
Oh, really?
I don't know.
Oh my God! No! I
don't know.
I believe in that one. That's like the one I choose to believe in.
I haven't looked into that, to be honest.
Well, once you look into
the Princess Diana stuff, I'm like, yeah, I can get behind that.
Okay. Oh, interesting. I feel like that's not one I
more because I think it's more about who benefits. Like, if there isn't like, I'm like, yeah, I don't like the royal family and stuff. Mm-hmm. Princess Diana seemed chill. Like, I'm happy to blame them.
Our version of that is the Kennedys.
Oh yeah,
that's our version of the royal family.
Oh yeah. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, which has its like own
'Cause
weird conspiracy theories like surrounding it.
Like, I could get behind it, but like,
You don't want it.
Yeah.
You don't want to.
yeah, I don't want to get behind it because like that's crazy.
Yeah.
Or like when everyone goes through the phase in middle school where they're like, yeah, 9/11 was an inside job.
Oh yeah. There's like, what was
I think it's because some people can't possibly believe that America has enemies or that America has done bad stuff.
Oh
Yeah.
my God, America is like
Like,
Probably one of the worst countries like in history, like two other countries.
yeah. And I think part of the 9/11 stuff, some people must just be like, oh, this can't possibly happen to us.
I also think not only does it come from like an unhealthy amount of like national pride, I think it's also like there's like just certain people want like a sense of belonging, and then you couple that with the fact that like not a lot of people here in America don't receive like a great education. That those two things combined, they're just so willing to accept
anything that's spoon fed to them on Facebook.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. And same with like anti-vaxxers and stuff. It's like there's an element of like people who have been like who the healthcare systems of the country has let them down, so they feel like so like, oh, why should I trust any of this or whatever. And it's like there's an element of like validity to that, even though it's totally misguided, you know.
Right.
Like,
yeah, I think I was gonna say
because most of them are just like paranoid and worried and not
and
it's not a malicious worldview.
Yeah, and I bet you anything if like the anti-vaxxers were to actually be like sat down and taught like how vaccines work, they wouldn't hold that idea of it anymore. Because like I used to work with somebody that didn't believe in vaccinations, and it was like it was hard to talk to them about it because if they don't have like a basic understanding of like certain like facts necessarily maybe like about science or something, then it's kind of hard to explain to them how one works. So then like it brings me to the idea like the root problem is that like people like it's education. Like people aren't
because like I remember one time I tried to describe to somebody, I was like well, they inject a deactivated form or a weakened form of the virus into you, and the person was like, that's still a form of the virus. What? And I was like, no, that's not how. No, it's deactivated. And they're like, they can't do it.
Yeah.
Like, yes, they can. That's the whole point of it.
Yeah, it's just it's this whole notion that like science can't possibly be the right answer, like, but it is though.
Yeah.
Like.
Although, but they do trust some. They'll read some weird article written by one scientist and
from like page 136 of Google.
Yeah.
It's like from the Onion.
on a website that's just like all black with like red text.
Yeah.
It's like
antivax.blogspot.com.
All their information.
Yeah. Or like worldtruth.com or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
All the websites they've accessed for their news can only be accessed through Tor.
Yeah.
It's just like, what are you doing?
You're running Windows XP. Like a Sony Vaio.
In a library.
Yeah.
Oh God. Yeah, no, it's cool to hear what other countries think of America, because I think America is such a wacky place, and like it's funny. It like when you said like you think America is like big and stuff like that, like blows my mind because like I mean obviously this is all I've grown up with.
Yeah.
and that's hilarious because I think it's quite small. You know, in my mind, because like I mean, and that's probably partly because like that's where I've grown up and like the same. I've been in the same place for
Have you
such a
ever
long
been
time.
in like a really big city besides St. Louis?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. Like I've been to California. Have you been to California?
No, I haven't been to California.
Yeah. Like once you go to California, it's like, oh yeah, it's like big. It's huge.
I don't know because
It's easy to feel that way when you're in the Midwest.
I know, but I've been to other places. I mean, like I haven't been to California, but I've been to
You've been to DC.
I've been to DC and stuff, which is our nation's capital. And like even then, like I didn't feel like maybe it's because I'm like used to the size of it.
Yeah, I think it's that.
Because like it doesn't but in my mind it doesn't feel that big because I feel like I have this preconceived notion of what every place is kind of like.
It's because you're just forgetting some of the states.
Hmm.
I can name like 6 states.
No. What I mean is like I feel like I have this preconceived notion of like different areas of America. And then it's like, oh, that place is like that. So I know what it's like there. Do you know what I mean? And obviously that's not the truth, but then I like, you know, I think that like in my head decreases the actual size of America to me.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean. It's like, yeah. It's yeah. No, I totally know what you mean.
Yeah.
It's
like I mean I
New Zealand feels smaller if I've traveled. But I used to think New Zealand was massive.
Oh, but you know.
Yeah.
Well, let's see here. It is 6:30.
Yeah. So that's like.
What time is it for you right now?
1:30.
1:30, yeah, because they're 19 hours ahead.
That is nuts.
It's Thursday for you, eh?
Yeah, it's Thursday for us.
Is it Friday?
I'm in the future. Yeah.
Yeah. Really quick. Sorry, it was such a hassle to schedule this.
That's so good.
Yeah, I was reading it and I was like, oh, they're 5 hours behind us. That doesn't make any sense, but okay. And then I texted you at school, and then you were like, oh, you mean like in an hour? And I was like,
I got a text in class from Brandon like, oh, what do I do here? We were both freaking out for like in an hour. Not for another day.
It's like have you seen Interstellar?
Yes, yeah.
You know how there's that one planet they go to that's on the other side of the galaxy or whatever, and it's like
every 2 hours is a year.
It's like that.
It was exactly like that. We were like, it's like talking to somebody that literally lives like on a different planet. Like
yeah. Well, I live in the future.
Yeah.
That is weird. Because like technically you do live in the future to our perceptions. You know,
yeah.
We have not experienced Friday yet, but you are going through it right now.
I can tell you what happens. No. It's chaos.
That would be really interesting to find out that like countries that are that ahead of us in time zones can like see what other countries are going through in real time that day.
Well, have you ever like do you flat with people there? Like, do people? I don't know if flat is a New Zealand word.
Like, do they room with us?
Like, yeah.
In college.
Yeah, in college.
And like, I mean, like if you can't like afford rent, then yeah.
Yeah. I have roommates and stuff here.
Oh, okay, because here everyone there's a big flatting culture where it's like I live in a house with 4 other people my age.
Oh.
I guess. So it's like everyone moves out pretty early, even though we can't really afford it. And we all just, it's like you essentially rent a house with either a bunch of strangers or like your friends or whatever.
It because like here it's like generally people, if you don't go to college, generally you stay at home until you can afford your own apartment.
And then
here
no one our housing crisis is like one of the worst in the world.
Oh,
Like we'll never be able to afford a house, so you just flat.
oh really?
But I was like living with people who have different jobs that live or that work like early hours or whatever. It's real weird. I'm just going back to the time zone thing of like, have you ever stayed up so late that before you've gone to bed, someone else in the flat is like just getting up for work?
Yeah.
So it's like you cross paths and you're in such a different headspace where it's like, where like, it's like, it feels weird. It feels like you're seeing someone who's like, you are seeing someone who's starting their next day that you were just finishing,
Right. Yeah.
even though,
I mean, I don't have any experience rooming with somebody, but like there has been times when I've like stayed up so late that like I'll like catch my dad leaving for work. And
yeah.
I'm like, whoa, I
I find it so interesting. Like it's a weird, like,
haven't even gotten to sleep yet.
because it's not, yeah. Like I feel like our perception of like the days is more about like when you get your sleep. Like if I went to sleep now at 1:30 in the afternoon and then sleep for 6 hours and woke up, I would feel like I was in another day, I guess.
Yeah.
And I would be essentially starting my next day, even though it's still today. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just looking at the stars on your background and I'm tripping out.
I get it. That's how I felt over quarantine. Like I would like my day cycle was weird because I would go to bed at like 9 a.m. and then wake up at like 5:30 p.m. So I would like switch like what you're normally supposed to do. Like I'd go to bed super early in the morning and then wake up like in the evening.
Whoa, that's wild.
Yeah, and it was like it
That's
was
like-
weird because I would wake up to it being like nighttime, and I would fall asleep when it was daytime, and it was super strange because then whenever like for even when I got my sleep schedule back on track, I was more awake at night because I was so used to being up like at night than during the day.
Yeah. I'm more creative at night. Like
Yeah, I find that
I'll
like,
do most of my music at night.
I don't know what it is about nighttime, but nighttime is like the time to do things.
That's why I get motivated. I'm so unmotivated during the day, but then during night, I'm like crashing through assignments and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it's like, yeah, it feels like bonus time. Like
Yeah,
you're stealing more parts of the day.
yeah,
Right. Yeah. Not only that, but it's like like my sleep schedule I would say is pretty unhealthy, but like on a normal night I'll go to sleep around like I'd say anywhere between 11 and 1, and then I wake up generally around 5:30.
yeah. Same.
So I'm getting on average like anywhere between like
4 and 5. That's about
4
what
and
I
5
get.
hours every day, I think.
Damn.
It's
Yeah.
pretty bad for me, but yeah.
It's because they say you're supposed to have like
8.
8 hours sleep.
Yeah, 8 hours sleep.
That
So
It's
seems
like how can
8 hours of sleep
you
is
fit that in?
8 hours of sleep. No, breaks are for like what's the longest you ever slept?
longest I've ever slept easily like more than 12 hours.
I slept 18.
Yeah.
before. I slept
Damn.
18 hours
Are you
straight.
sure you didn't just like die and got resuscitated?
No, so what happened? What happened? I stayed up for
Resuscitated randomly.
I stayed up
Yeah.
straight. So I stayed up for 38 hours straight. So it was like a day and a half and then like a few more hours. And then I went to bed at like 7 p.m. on like a Friday. And then I woke up at like 3 p.m. the next day.
Oh whoa.
Or no, it was like 1 p.m. the next day. Like I woke up and I felt horrible because when you sleep that much, like your body like hasn't moved, like you still feel tired. Like it doesn't matter. Like it's like a good middle spot.
Yeah.
So you don't sleep
And you
enough.
feel dehydrated.
Yeah, like I got up and I felt like I was dying.
Yeah, it's 'cause your body has like gone without any nutrients. Normal.
I mean, imagine being in a coma. Like, is that what it must feel like waking up from a coma? Where it's like, but that times a million.
Yeah, well, yeah, because
Oh
you
my
wake
gosh.
up and you like can't move because your muscles are like, what? This is when you're in a coma. Not this is what happened to me. Like when you wake up, like,
Yeah.
oh, like you can't move because your muscles are all atrophied and they're like all weak, and like you have no control
Oh,
over your body and you like shit yourself because like you can't like tighten your ass. It's crazy, dude.
damn. Whoa, I didn't know. That's wild.
Yeah, it's
I think when you're young, pulling an all-nighter sounds real exciting. But as an adult, pulling an all-nighter is like, it's
I hate
like
it now.
the worst thing you could ever experience as an adult.
I
It ruins your sleep pattern for like a year.
I desperately want to sleep, but the school schedule and like the amount of work that I have is just like I just don't see myself getting that much sleep. So I've always been like good sleep is like reserved for when I have like vacation time. Which
I'm real bad at getting good sleep.
I don't think it's really possible once you reach a certain age because like responsibility.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah. I don't know. It's it's a weird little dilemma. Brandon's little
Yeah.
rant kind of put me in tears there. He just kind of says stuff.
Yeah, it's how I am. I always just kind of say stuff.
Yeah, that I'm getting flashbacks to the Dandelion Hands episode.
Okay, I wasn't as bad this episode as I was that episode.
How was that one?
That one was
Okay, well, so we asked Nick. That's his name. We're like, oh, so what have you been doing during the pandemic? And he just went jerking off, and then it kind of went like, and then when he said that, I realized I could say whatever I wanted. So then, like,
Yeah.
yeah, so it wasn't. We had a whole conversation about Donut November. It was fun. It was fun.
Oh my gosh.
yeah, it was
Probably like the funniest podcast we've done.
it was definitely the funniest, but
I'm gonna give that a listen.
it was dude, it was the funniest, but it was definitely the least organized.
Yeah, we could have done a better job, right? I feel like he deserved a much better like episode because we talked about music for like maybe the first 20 minutes, and then we just showed him memes for a while.
Yeah, it was a very strange episode. Hilariously, our least viewed episode.
Yeah, it's like our
That's great.
with like one of our biggest artists we've ever interviewed, and it still has like the least views out of all of our interviews.
I don't know why, but there's a lot of like little memeable moments, and one of the things that we're going to be introducing soon on our channel, right? Because I think I mentioned this earlier. This is like our first like season, so we figured that like to start off like in this first season, even though we're taking all of our interviews like seriously and stuff, it's also like our trial run to see like what works and what doesn't in terms of like whether that like equipment or like editing or like promoting it or whatever, seeing what works. And one of the things we're going to be doing pretty soon is we're going to have a separate YouTube channel that's just dedicated to clips, so that like it's not just like these big hour-long episodes that people are probably just going to click on and maybe like skip around on, but like just like little like bite-sized pieces, get like the highlights. And that episode with Nick has so many like funny moments that are like clip worthy that I guarantee are gonna like be like way more popular as like little like 5-minute stuff compared to like an hour-long thing. Yeah.
Is it a video as well, or like?
Yeah. So all of our podcasts are videos because we record the Zoom calls.
Yeah.
We'll just upload. We'll upload just the raw Zoom call, and then and we have.
So
like
when I got up to go to the toilet,
well, I mean, we'll cut that out.
Yeah,
we're not gonna.
I mean, you can leave that in there if you want, but I don't know.
We'll probably cut it out because like dead air and stuff. But we have like a little like intro, like music and stuff, and we even have like an intro animation that we stick in front of everything.
And our friends making like actual like better animations now.
Yeah, we have an actual like friend who's an artist that's like animating some stuff for us.
Oh,
like,
that's cool.
to like
What
actually.
made you want to start a podcast?
So we're like in the video class at our school. Like we like have like this video course, and one of the subjects you can do is podcasting. And so
Ah,
Gabe and I were like, we'll do a podcast. And then Gabe and I were like, we need ideas for a podcast. And I was like, we can interview music artists. And he was like, sure. And then we just started doing it, and it's actually worked pretty well.
Yeah.
Like it's really easy to get in contact with artists.
But that's what's hilarious about it is that this like has started off as a school project like earlier, but it's like transcended into us like actually wanting to like try to make something big, because I don't know of any other like people our age that are like actually interviewing some of the bands and sizes of the bands that we've gotten a hold of.
Yeah.
So like, I feel like me and Brennan have just had this thought that like maybe we're onto something, you know?
yeah, and I think it'll be cool seeing the change in interview style as well. Like
Right.
Yeah.
if this is like
Yeah, I mean, you're actually
seeing how it develops and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, this is not to diss any of the other artists, but like I'll say like at least in terms of like one-on-one interviews, because like we've interviewed entire bands before, like together, and we've noticed
That must be chaos.
no, actually, those are the better episodes.
Because
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
there's not as much dead air, and they kind of bounce off each other because they know each other well, so like they get more comfortable. And I think
Yeah. And it's not like the whole band is going to go to the toilet at once.
Yeah.
Like I did.
Well, with Destroy Boys, that kind of happened.
yeah, Destroy Boys kind of like took shifts,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I'd say that in terms of like just interviewing a singular person, you are by far like our most successful.
Yeah, I think we
Like,
like stayed
interviews.
Oh,
on.
sweet.
Yeah,
We stayed on topic like the
Did
long.
we?
and there's like a minimal dead air too, which is like really good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but because like
That's good.
yeah, we found that it becomes like a race to like see how quickly we can get the person we're interviewing like comfortable,
Yeah.
like we're just talking with us, and that ends up becoming like its own art form. Like if you look at our first interview, which was with Hi Sun, and granted, like by the end of the episode, everything was chill, you know, and like normally. But if you look at the beginning of the episode, it's really awkward because it's me and Brennan's first episode. We don't really know what we're doing.
I'm like I'm like a really huge High Sun fan.
Yeah, he was nervous because he's like a big fan of that artist. to
And
begin
I'm a
with.
big fan of all the artists we interview because I've chosen like every artist we've
Yeah.
interviewed, and I'm a big fan of all the artists we've interviewed. It's just I've gotten better at like not freaking the fuck out anytime I see them.
That was a big problem. We were getting really nervous before each interview.
Yeah.
And I think we've just like been able to like calm our nerves better.
I want to see like an interview podcast where it's like the people clearly hate each other at the start. see how the conversation evolves. Where it's like they take two people that
Go ahead
hate
and watch,
each other. And
go ahead and watch the Dandelion Hands episode.
Yeah, I think Nick like I loved Nick, and Nick was awesome. I feel like Nick just fucking hates us. Like
Because here's the thing.
we were.
You mean from the start of the interview or like at the end of the interview?
By the end.
Yeah, by the end.
By the end, I
Because I'd say we were pretty like not that we were unprepared for it, but like we were just there was a lot of like outside environmental things going on,
yeah.
like beyond like just producing the podcast and getting ready for the podcast, that kind of like pre-affected how we were as interviewers, and then that just kind of bled over into the interview. So like even if you can't necessarily tell from just watching it, me and Brandon during the interview, like at least the way we were feeling was like not great. And,
Yeah,
like,
which I under
Like was it like a stressful? Was it like
there were
like
moments when like we were struggling to come up with like something to say to like break dead air,
yeah.
you know.
hmm.
And then like Brandon said, the music portion of the
was like our shortest music portion out of all the podcasts.
Yeah.
Like it was only like with ours, like that we're doing right now. Like I mean, we talked about music for like the good first hour.
Yeah.
And that's like the longest I think we've ever stayed on topic with music. And I think this is like on track to be our longest podcast because we've been recording for like well over 2 hours.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah, but I
This
mean,
is like
it's a good
Lord of the Rings.
I've enjoyed it. It's cool. It's cool talking.
This is the opus.
Yeah.
So far, yeah. Hell yeah. Yeah, this is gonna be our crowning jewel on season 1.
Yeah.
Yeah. Our
Mean.
we're gonna start season 2 with our 3rd co-host pretty soon.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah.
How's it going to be with 3 hosts?
Oh, I meant to bring this up to you. I think we should move to his basement because we are not fitting 3 dudes in this room.
Yeah. So we run into problems with Zoom because like right now it's not an issue because there's only 2 calls going on right now. But if we were to add a 3rd person, it puts a time limit on it, and then we'd have to start a new Zoom call.
Does it put a time limit on it?
Yeah, so that's like so you need like Zoom Premium or whatever to be able to like actually do that without a time limit. So we ran into that problem. So for 3 people, we'll probably just end up taking our friend's basement over.
Yeah.
And then when we decide to do this in college, that's when we'll probably have to start thinking about like
either switching platforms or coughing up the money.
Yeah. We've thought about Skype.
Oh, I didn't know Zoom does that. Yeah.
Discord, because like a lot of podcasts do it over Discord, but we kind of just this is like really easy with the camera and everything.
Yeah, and Zoom has like settings to where like it can control like who's on screen when they're talking, so it just completely takes out the idea of us having to edit like multicam footage.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, so like yeah, it's like whatever's like the most like time efficient, and that ends up being like what we go with. Yeah, we're really excited to roll out some of the stuff that we have in the works.
Yeah,
because like we think
it's exciting.
Yeah, we're hoping it'll be like a jump in like viewership, you know, because like I'd say we have. Like,
how are you promoting it? Like how do you promote a podcast?
Let's see. Well, I mean, I post it on. We have a separate Instagram for the podcast, and then I post like.
We shit post. We like post memes to the podcast Instagram to like promote it, which is
specific. I like made for the artists. Like it's not just like random memes. It's like memes tailored to the artist that we're about to like drop the interview for.
Yeah, like with Dandelion Hands, it was really like he makes like very sad atmospheric music. So all of our memes were like very like I don't know, they were like sad memes, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
And then like but he was the first artist we did that for. Yeah. To like start promoting. We had just recently made the podcast Instagram.
Yeah, because before I was just posting like on my Snapchat story and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, we could always just like pay for promotion on Instagram. Like they have like that thing like where businesses can pay for ad space.
Yeah, we'll probably end up doing something like that too. But
yeah.
We realized we have to like build kind of like separate followings on different platforms for everything.
Is it doing pretty well?
We get a significant. Okay, so it depends on the way. So we usually ask the artist to promote it too, which they usually do anyways, just out of default. But like, it depends on where the artist tells their followers to go listen to it. And it also always ends up being that we have more views than we have actual subscribers. So like on our YouTube and stuff, we have like a very small amount of subscribers, but on most of our videos, we have, I'd say, like way more views than we do people that are subscribed. And the same way generally follows for stuff like Spotify and iTunes. Yeah. So like it always depends on where the artist tells their followers to go listen to it. So some tell them it's on YouTube, some tell it's on Spotify, and then that generally decides which platform people are more likely to go to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Because like some of our episodes are like really heavy on like really successful on Spotify and iTunes and not so successful on YouTube, or it's the opposite. It's the other way around.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, that must be annoying.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
it's kind of hard to tell what people are like wanting.
Hmm.
You know, like if there are consistent viewers out there, and we know we have, our analytics show us that like there we have like a good amount of people. We have like a lot of people from other countries listening in, not just America.
Yeah.
We've like branched out into other countries, and we don't know if they're like returning listeners or not, but we know somebody's listening, so we're like it's kind of trying to figure out like those like establish who like the returning audience is and like what they're
Yeah.
yeah
I don't really deal with any of that
Damn.
side of it.
yeah, he's like the social manager.
Yeah, I just get in contact with everybody. I write the scripts. Not really scripts,
Yeah.
outlines. So like I don't write like a full like.
This is all scripted.
Yes, we sent you
Every word.
Every word you've
Yeah,
said.
people watching don't know this. But...
This is really meta now.
Yeah, he focuses all on like socials and like contacting artists and
Scheduling the interviews, which I've messed up twice now.
It's all good.
And then our next co-host is gonna be like he's gonna take over the YouTube for us, and I'll like solely focus on Spotify and like iTunes
Hmm.
and like working with our hosting platform and stuff.
That would be cool.
Yeah, that's another thing I wanted to ask you. You talked about your distributor. So do you use a platform, or is that like an actual person?
Oh, so I use DRM.
Okay.
So that's a New Zealand one. And they're cool. It's like DistroKid or TuneCore, one of those things that gets your music everywhere.
Mhm.
But it's like run by a small team of people that you can actually talk to in email, and it's like people doing it.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah, so it's pretty good.
That's pretty cool.
Other than when they accidentally reveal your album cover.
I'm glad I picked up
That's
on
wild that happened.
Brandon almost didn't pick up on it because he thought that you had just changed the album art.
Well, no, at first
And just have a different album title on it.
Well,
Yeah.
that's what
okay, so
tipped
here's
us
what,
off.
at first I was like, oh, he changed the album art. That's weird. And I was like, why would he do that? And then what tipped me off at first was I saw an album by Pickle Darling, and I was like, well, it's not an album though, it's an EP. And then I looked closer at the like name, and I was like, that doesn't make any sense. And then I went to your band, and it was still the same as like it was earlier when I looked at it. So I was like, okay, yeah, so something's wrong here.
Yeah, that's so weird.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for the moment where I have to the distributor. We use a platform, but I'm just waiting for the moment that screws up in some way.
Yeah, I'm sure it will. I think it's like,
yeah,
I don't know what happened. I don't know how that happens. I don't know how that's a mistake that can happen.
we're experiencing a weird glitch on our Spotify, but I don't know if it's the distributor that's doing it.
What is it?
On if you're on mobile and you look at our podcast on Spotify, all of the episodes have like 2 repeats of themselves like listed. But if you go to
Weird.
Yeah, if you go to the Spotify web browser or look at it on your computer, it's normal. So
Hey, that's just your app.
Hmm.
My app's not doing that.
oh well, then it might just be my
Yeah.
Well, my thing is glitching out. But yeah.
Wild.
Alrighty. I think Brandon said it earlier. We've been going on like 2 hours.
Almost 2.5.
Yeah.
Oh, what's the time? Oh,
Yeah.
whoa, it's almost 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel like it would probably be smart to wrap it for the sake
That's
of
fair.
my computer exporting the
It's gonna be
podcast.
brutal.
Yeah, it's gonna take a couple hours, but
Couple days.
freaking Intel Core i5.
Painful.
Yeah, pain. As you can tell, we're DIY to the max.
No, that's all good.
Yeah,
I am that too.
yeah. You got to start from somewhere, man. You got to start from somewhere. And it's
Yeah.
DIY creates I think the best art because it forces
Yeah, no, totally.
it forces you to get creative.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's like,
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. We have like our little outro, and then we will let you go, and we'll get to editing.
Man.
Alrighty.
thank you for having me.
No problem. Obviously, go check out Pickle Darling wherever you listen to music. It makes great music. And I don't think this was supposed to be leaked, but new album on the way.
Yeah.
So
Sort your shit out, Spotify.
yeah, make sure you tune in. Follow Pickle Darling on Instagram. And then obviously we'll have all of your music linked below for anybody that wants to listen. And then
Yeah.
everybody make sure you follow the Keeping It Lowkey podcast Instagram so you can get notified when new episodes are about to drop. Make sure you follow me, Brandon, Sam on the Instagram. And yeah, you can also
Subscribe.
check this podcast out wherever you listen to podcasts. Alrighty.
Sick.
Yeah, thank you for keeping it low key with us.
Is
Yeah.
that me or the audience?
To everybody, yeah, both.
Me. Me as well, if I'm watching it.
Yeah.
For sure.
You're welcome.
All right, join us, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.